In this video, I'm going to tell you the most common questions which are asked at the airport, mostly for immigrants and travelers across the world. But basically, this video is tailored for people traveling to Western countries because that is where you'll find a lot of grilling, and that is why we usually do this video so that our people understand the kind of grilling, the kind of questions you are likely to get at the airport. And I've gotten experiences from different people they've shared with me, and we have also seen online how people were grilled for even 3 or 4 hours before they were let in to go into the country. So in this video, I want to demystify, help you to answer the questions which you are likely to be asked anytime you get into an airport, because people find it so hard, especially for people of color. And I know that has been a very big debate, a very big issue, because people tend to be mistreated. People tend to be discriminated. You are imagining a line of 1,000 people. You are the only person who is picked for grilling, and you are grilled for many, many hours. And your bags are ransacked all through for these immigration officers or port of entry officers trying to sift through your bags to see if there is anything which can be considered, any small thing which can be considered to be incriminating evidence against you, so that they deny you entry. But basically, you just need to know how to navigate all this drama and trouble by just listening to this kind of video, so that you understand how to tackle them once those questions are presented to you, because they are likely to be presented to you, because many people, they can share their experiences in the comment section. You can tell us your experiences in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video so that we get more people. That is how you can help the channel grow further and further. So thank you very much. Let's get into question number 1. And this is the first question most airport you'll be asked in most airports. Can I see your passport? Most immigration officers will want to see your passport, and this basically they want to see how confident you are. So you just need to. This is basically not even a question. You just need to tell that immigration officer, "Here is my passport," and you hand it over to them. And that is the genesis of all the questions. They basically want to see whether you have the right kind of visa. You are your identity, the one you're claiming is the correct one, and basically just hand over your passport confidently and without hesitation. So that boils down to you putting your passport in a place where it's easily accessible, because you don't want your passport to be at the lowest level of your bag. So you're going once because behind you there are so many people waiting to be served, and you don't want to waste time looking for your passport throughout your bag. The other question number 2, you're likely to be asked in the airport, is how long do you intend to stay in your country? And this question has been used to deny so many people entry into different countries at ports of entry, for example, airports and seaports. And the length of your stay should be married, should be married to what you claimed, what is stated in your purpose of visit. So this is the genesis of questions, and you need to know these are questions which follow each other in succession. So what you answer in one question should be defendable, should be the same with what you answer in the next question. So you need to have at the back of your mind the purpose of your visit, the length of your stay, and you just need to be clear and concise with your plans and where you're going to stay. What brings you to this country? Those questions will follow in succession. So you need to be aware, and when answering the first questions, because they have lined up questions which relate to the first questions which you are asked before. I hope I'm clear in explaining that. The other question, which is the third question, is the purpose of your visit. And most people do not know how to answer these questions. This question, the answer should be the same as what is in your passport. So if you are on a visit visa, the purpose of your visit should never be, I'm coming to, for example, to work. I'm coming, for example, to do other things. And the purpose of your visit was a visit visa, or on a tourist visa, or you are coming to attend a conference. And you just need to be clear and concise without giving out so much detail, but you just need to be clear. If you're attending a conference, I'm attending a conference in such and such a place, and I'll be now from there I'll attend another conference or I'll do onward travel to another country, maybe a secondary country you are planning to visit. And that basically means that you need to have the itinerary or the plan of your travel at the back of your mind anytime you are being asked this question. The other question I usually see is what do you what is your profession? What do you do in your career? What career are you in? And basically, the visa officer is trying to see whether what you wrote in the application, or what you said at the interview for the visa, is what you still say. So if you're a doctor, just be precise. Say I'm a doctor. Say I'm a teacher. And they are also trying to piece together information whether your financial situation fits what you are claiming. So if you are, for example, you are in a low cadre secretarial job in a company, and you are claiming to come as a tourist, and for example, you're claiming in your bank statement you have 4,000 US dollars, or 5 million US dollars, sorry. And the kind of job you do does not relate well with your financial situation. So basically, they are trying to investigate and see whether your case is a true case of presentation, or there's a mispresentation, so to speak. So for that question, try as much as possible to answer with your profession. If you're not employed, be as honest as you can. Say I'm unemployed, but try as much as possible to explain your situation, what you do. For example, you might be working on projects, or you're on projects, or you won a lottery. Might be different things to explain your financial situation. The other question which is usually asked, which is the fifth question, is are you traveling alone? And this is basically a question you answer with a yes or no. And then if it's a yes, you explain that I'm traveling with my brother, my cousin, my wife, my spouse, my parents, without necessarily divulging that person's name or identity, because the port of entry officer is not interested in knowing the exact name of your brother. They just want to know, I'm traveling with my parents, I'm traveling accompanied by my spouse. And basically, you just need to be as honest as possible. They're just trying to know whether your intent of visiting that country, for example, tallies with why you are visiting the country with your mother. For example, you're going to see your brother who is or your sister who is in a foreign country, and you're accompanied by your mother or your elder parent. You basically need to state that I'm bringing over my parents to this country so that we can go and see my brother's wife who recently got a child. So as an African traveler, you just need to be versatile. You just need to know how to answer these questions, because chances are like 80% you will be asked questions. And those people who have any experience, be it good or bad, at any airport in the world, you can tell us in the comment section down there, so that we continue this conversation about your experiences in most airports. I know people have sometimes people have very bad experiences, and that is why we usually say people of color, sometimes they get discriminated across different airports in the world. That's a reality. But we are trying to share this information and try to talk about it so that we can see more and more changes about that thing. The other question, which is the sixth question, which you're likely to be asked, is how much money? How much money are you traveling with? And there are different ways of thinking about this question, because the visa officer might be asking, how much money in cash do you have on you? So it basically depends with how this visa officer asks this question. So if the visa officer asks you how much money do you have on you, is basically asking you how much money in cash do you have, are you traveling with? And in that case, you need to know the financial regulations, financial requirements of that country. There are countries which do not allow you to carry huge chunks of money, certain amounts. Depends with the country. You just need to have a prior information about how much money can you carry in cash to get into that country, or what is the cap, what is the limit upper limit of amount of money you can carry in cash, so that you declare the amount of money you are traveling with, so that the visa officer, they also do reporting, they also document if they find you with the extra amounts of money, and it can lead you to be denied entry because of reasons, maybe money laundering and such things which happen across the world. So be in the know of the regulation, the financial regulations of the said country which you are visiting at the time of travel. The other way of this question, of thinking this question, is that the visa officer, or what we call the border officer, you might find you might be asking, how much money do you have? And that includes the money in your bank, the money you have in cash. So answer that question as precisely as possible. And basically, the border officer is trying to know whether you're able to support yourself on this kind of visa or this kind of traveling, which is bringing you to this country at that point. So also have that in mind. And the bank statement you shared with the embassy at the time of the application of the visa will also determine your answer at this point. So you need to have that in mind when answering some of these questions, so that you don't find yourself in unfamiliar situations where you need to do a lot of explaining. And as I've told you, people of color, sometimes they get some not so good kind of treatment in most Western airports. And you can also share, again, let me repeat, share your experiences, so that we know how people are suffering, how people are being treated in different airports in the world. I know people from Nigeria, people from Kenya, people from Ghana, people from South Africa, people from Zim, people from different countries, Uganda, Tanzania, usually travel the world. And the kind of treatment they usually get. Sometimes I usually see these experiences, people sharing across social media, and I'm just left wondering what might have gone wrong. Because sometimes you find people being grilled for 3-4 hours, and they've already traveled across the world for around 24 hours or 18 hours non-stop. So we are hoping that things are going to change. But otherwise, traveling as a person of color, sometimes it's not easy. It's not easy. The other question, which is the seventh question, is do you have any family member here in this country? And this question is basically being asked so that the visa officer, or the border officer, or the immigration officer, to know whether your intent of travel. This question is a tricky question, because the visa officer, the border officer, wants to know whether you're planning to default on your visa, to fail to return to your home country. Because chances are that if you have ties in that country, maybe if it's Canada, if it's the US you are visiting, chances are that if you have family ties in that country, you are not going to go back to your home country. Now that basically depends on your purpose of travel, and also sometimes your age, and your profession back home. And mostly I talk about age because sometimes for elder parents who are above the ages of 60, if they have children in that country, most times they won't be denied a visa, even also entry, they won't be denied entry. But a young person who is 20 years, 23 years, 30 years, there are chances that if you show that you have family ties in that country you're visiting, chances are that you can be denied entry or grilled for hours and hours and hours. So basically, how to answer these questions is to think about it in two different ways and see which one is suitable for you, because it can be used against you or for you. And basically, this boils down to how you answered questions at the visa interview or while you fill in the form for the visa application. So basically, that is a question which is a tricky one. You just need to know how to tackle it depending on your particular circumstances or situation, because the answer for this question varies depending on from person to person. The other question, which is a tricky one, they usually ask, have you been here before? And the visa officer already, the border officer already has the information, and they just want to know whether you are honest or you are untruthful. So basically, if you feel you had already visited that country before, you just need to state that I was here, and you can state the dates from 1995 to 1998. I visited the US, and I stayed here for 3 months. And you can be as precise as possible with the dates and what you brought you in that country. So you can try to answer that question as precisely as possible, because the visa officer is just basically trying to play with your mind, so to speak. Just trying to play with your mind and see whether you are truthful, or you mispresent your information and what you said at the visa interview, because they already have that information in their computer. They can just pull it and see what your records are. Number 9, do you have any goods to declare? And this is because most countries, they require you to declare some goods for tax purposes, for other purposes, security purposes. And if you have goods to declare, you need to do prior preparation, prior research, and know if the particular country you're visiting, whether they require you to declare goods, maybe photography equipment, maybe different scientific research equipments. You need to know that some countries require you to declare these goods for tax purposes, security purposes, and basically for information to know which goods are getting into that country. So, like for Kenya, you are given a form to fill if you are bringing in cameras, if you are bringing in microphones, if you are bringing in, if you'll be doing any kind of photography in the country. You need to declare your goods at the port of entry. So you need to do a lot of research. Let me repeat that, so that you don't find yourself in familiar situations at the port of entry, because you have goods which you need to declare, or you can't declare, or goods which are illegal in that case. The 10th question is, where will you be staying while in this country? And this basically boils down again to the first questions, second questions I've told you in this video. So where will you be staying depends with your purpose of visit, and what brings you into this country. Because if, for example, you are attending a conference, and the conference conveners have arranged for a hotel stay for you, you can show that, you can explain that and show the hotel reservation. Even if it's yourself who has done a hotel reservation, you can also tell the visa officer. Sometimes they'll ask you for the address. Maybe sometimes they'll ask you for the number, the mobile number, or the email, or mostly the mobile number, the telephone number, sorry, so that they call the hotel and see whether you've done the real reservation for that hotel. So as a person of color traveling across the world, you can have hotel reservations, Airbnb, different ways of approaching it. Depends with the port of entry officer and how he wants to grill you further, because sometimes, as I've told you, there is a lot of grilling which is done at the airport, and you need to be prepared, because travel hasn't been easy, and it can be made easier by you knowing how to answer some of these questions. I'll be doing more videos about how to answer some of these questions. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like this video. Ask your questions in the comment section so that we get to answer them on the go. Thank you.